This is the chaos work table surface, converting the tile saw and radial arm saw into basically like a radial tile saw. This is the pallet, 2,000 pounds of 18 by 18 travertine, 330 square feet. This is one of the tiles. My lever to move it ever so slightly. 2,000 pounds is hard to move even with a big lever. The GFI or die radial arm saw. So plastic layer just to protect the MDF, and then just 2x6s to raise it up high enough so that the shorter saw assembly can reach the work surface. I've only done one little test cut so far, and that test cut involved learning that the blade spins in the opposite direction I was expecting, throwing all of the water and tile mud right into your face as the operator standing right here. I tied into the electrical system of the radial arm saw. It's unplugged. In order to use the switch, I lost my key, so my fancy wire key. I used some tile backer board as a sacrificial surface. I think that'll work okay. I've got another piece for the back half. I just was testing with a little test edge, momentarily bringing it forward to cut. It's the little $15 pump, Ryobi pump from Home Depot. Electrical system, I tied in, this used to go directly to the radial arm saw head. I just added a plug, and I put a three-way adapter so I could turn on the pump and the modified tile saw at the same time with the same switch. So this tile saw actually was twice as wide. I had to cut the back half off and move. There's an internal control box over, and then the saw itself is actually right here, and this is empty space. So I could even gain a little bit more travel if I wanted to actually move the saw forward, but keeping the blade perfectly perpendicular to the box is difficult to do if I'm moving it. It was hard enough using a laser and 3 different carpenter squares to make sure that it was still perfectly aligned, this being perfectly parallel to the track. It just slides back and forth as if it was the radial arm saw. I added some rigid conduit drainage tubing to keep that dry, expecting that the blade was going to throw all the water that way. This top plate is held on by 1 bolt through a bushing that I made in the lathe, TIG welded to this. This weld is absolutely atrocious, but whatever, it's an experiment. Let me get a close-up of my terrible welding. Let's think if I have any visible halfway decent welds just to... That's not even decent either, but trying to clean this, it's like a powder-coated paint. It's quite difficult, but anyways, it works for my test cut. Now I need to figure out my splash shield, redirect my water a little bit more accurately onto the blade with a better solution than a zip tie, and finish my sacrificial surface and start cutting.